here we are live
Yay.
at our Lifecraft Co. lockdown live chat. This is amazing.
So good.
My name's Julian.
And my name's Libby.
And it is great to have you watching with us. This is the first time we're trialling something like this, so we'd love to hear from you in the comments how this is going. If you're watching live, you can chat with us. And if you're watching on the catch-up, hopefully you'll find some great value throughout this conversation. This channel is all about intentional living. We're all about living life on purpose. And what better way to start our first live chat by talking purpose?
I know, totally. We're so excited to share with you. And like we said, we'd love for you to like and subscribe if you're liking what's going on. But also make sure you comment. Let us know your thoughts, your questions if you have any for us. We'd love for you to be part of the conversation.
Amazing. And so we're going to jump straight into it. We're going to spend maybe 10-15 minutes. And if you're commenting live as well, we'll take a little time to chat with you. But we just wanted to talk about the whole subject of purpose. It's a well-worn word that you've probably heard bandied around quite a lot. And if you know anything about trying to develop yourself, it's talked about so much, but it seems to be this kind of ethereal comment, or it's kind of this big concept that feels a little bit intangible. Like, what is it? What is purpose? And so really the first question we wanted to ask is, well, what do we mean by purpose?
What is purpose?
What is purpose? So Libby, if you had to sum it up, what would you say purpose is?
I think purpose is the thing we're aiming for. It's the thing that is central in our life. So it defines what we say yes to, what we say no to. It helps us understand what we're trying to achieve in life. That's our purpose. It might be different for different people depending on your personal circumstances. So it may be that your purpose is defined by your career choice, or what you want to do as a job, what you want to do as a family. Or it might be that actually it's much more sort of family based or value based, and actually your purpose is who you're becoming. For me, I think purpose is a lot more about who I'm becoming rather than what I'm trying to do. That's really important for me personally in terms of how I would view my purpose.
See, I'm quite a practical guy, so when I think about purpose, I think about what does something do? What was it made for? What was it built for? And again, if you're watching along, could you just drop into the comments what do you think purpose is? What would be your definition of purpose? But for me, I would say, I've got a car outside. If it doesn't drive and it doesn't take me somewhere, it's not fulfilling its purpose. That's what it was made for. I'm pretty handy as well, so I used to be a joiner, used to work on building sites, build houses, do renovations, and when I buy a tool, I want a tool to do the job. And so often I think about, well, what was this tool made for? What's the purpose of this tool? So when I think about purpose, I think about what's its function, like what's inside of it. And then when I start to think about my life purpose, similar to you actually, I started to think about, well, what was I made for? What was I designed for? Now we're people of faith, so we believe that there's something purposed for every single one of us. But I think it's quite hard to discover what that is, and sometimes you can spend quite a lot of time wondering, what is it I should be doing? What is it I should be spending my time on? And right now that feels like a really good question to ask in the middle of lockdown, because you've got some time to think about it. You've got no excuses right now. And so really, for me, I've defined purpose as what am I made for? What is it that I'm supposed to do? You've defined purpose as...
It is what am I made for, but then actually what am I becoming as well? What direction am I heading in with my life? So
part of who you are. I really like that as a definition. So why does it matter then? That's the next thing to ask. If we've got some idea of what we mean by purpose, why should we even bother talking about it? What does it matter in our life to have purpose?
I think it really matters because your purpose defines everything that you're doing. It will define the decisions you make, and actually it makes decision making easier when you know what your purpose is.
Right.
Because it makes it easier to decide what to say yes to, what to say no to, and it can really help you because we can be overwhelmed with decisions on a day-to-day basis. You can get kind of decision fatigue, can't you? Where there's just way too many questions, way too many things to decide what to do. But if you know what your purpose is and you know who you want to become and where you want to go and what you're made for, it helps you decide what opportunities to say yes and no to.
See, I actually found that at the start of lockdown. I don't know about you guys. Just, again, drop a comment. You can jump in on this conversation. But I found that with all this time, there's so much I could be doing. There's so much I could be spending my time on it. And I think knowing what my purpose is, knowing where I'm supposed to be spending the time in my life, that really determines how I'm going to spend my time. That really determines whether I'm going to spend some time reading, learning a language, learning a new skill, trying to develop either something around self-education, something around my career or work. All of my sense of purpose will determine where my time is spent. And so I think you're right about that. And you don't want to map life out too clearly. You know, you think, well, should I have a plan for my life? Should I know what I want to do in 20 years' time? Similar to what you were saying at the start, I don't think you need to do that. I think you just need to have a sense of, here's my fit, here's my shape, here's what I feel like I should be doing, rather than where I'm going to be in 10 years' time. Because actually, if we focus on who we're becoming for our purpose, that'll carry us.
Totally. And I think a good question to ask if you're not sure what your purpose is what are you passionate about? What do you enjoy? What are the things that really get you going? Because that can be very, very much the start of discovering what your purpose is. It might be that for some of those things you don't see how that might be connected, but if you're someone who absolutely loves being around people, that might push you down a certain career path. But when you recognise what you're good at and what you enjoy, that can really help you discover your purpose.
And I think that's probably the greatest reason why it matters, like why your purpose matters, because it will determine what you do, and ultimately it'll determine what you won't do. So as you say, like if you're someone who naturally, you're a caring person, you're compassionate, that might determine where you spend your time. You know, if you spend probably, was it 1/3 or 2/3 of your life working?
Yeah.
Like if you were to work from age 18, say through to 65 retirement, that's a huge portion of your life spent in your career, spent earning. Now, much better to spend that time doing something you're passionate about, something you're purposeful.
Totally.
And if you know, well, my purpose in life is to show compassion towards people, or it's to encourage people, or it's to lift people up, you might find yourself either being a carer or a doctor or a nurse, or you might be a teacher, someone that helps people along, and you'll be fulfilled in those places of work because actually you've said no to other stuff because the other stuff doesn't fit with your purpose.
Totally.
And so I think having a purpose is a great help to us. Is it the same? So is purpose the same as goals and vision?
I would say no. I think they're very closely connected. I think purpose and vision is perhaps closer linked than purpose and goals. I would see, if you imagine that your purpose is the final destination that you want to get at, imagine it's like a bus journey. I've got a friend that uses that analogy quite a lot, and the journey on the bus matters. But I would say the goals are like the pit stops. They're the sort of smaller targets that we're trying to achieve. And goals are really important. I think they're great for helping us to achieve our purpose, the things we're passionate about. But they can't be the be all and end all. Like the goals are the small steps to get there.
Absolutely, and I think as well. So if a vision is a picture of a preferred future, that's not really about something that drives you. That's about something that pulls you forward.
Yeah.
So if I know, for instance, I'm going to build a house, the vision is what the house will look like in the end. The purpose is, well, why am I doing it? Purpose is the why behind the what. So what drives me to do that? Well, is it because I need to build a place for my family? Is it because I want to see something great being built, or whatever it might be? And it's the same for your life. If you've got a vision for your life, that's a fantastic thing to have, but it's not your purpose. Your purpose is why and what's driving you towards that. If it's that, well, the vision for my life is to build a strong family, then the why is because these things matter to me, because these things fulfill me and fulfill other people, because I'm a caring person, because I want to raise kids and I want to instill something within them. That is a purpose. That's totally a driver. It's not the vision. The vision is what it might look like, but the purpose is what's going to keep you going forward in the middle of that. So what would you say are some of the things that can derail purpose?
I think the biggest thing that can derail purpose is ourselves. I think there can be certain character traits that I think we all have in different varying degrees, but things like selfishness, or things like if you're feeling insecure about yourself, that can really derail your purpose. Because either if you're feeling, if selfishness is something that you're struggling with, actually you can end up focusing so much on you that you can alienate and lose the direction you're going in. You can alienate the people around you. But I think the bigger one is insecurity. Because if you don't think well of yourself and you don't think you're able to achieve your purpose, then you won't. Because if you believe you can't, then you won't. And so I think it's really important that we focus on actually who we're becoming. And I think as part of that comes the sense of security, like as part of whatever your purpose that you're heading into, your own self-awareness and your security in yourself is really important to get to where you want to be. Regardless of what you feel your purpose is or what the next goal is, that's one of the essentials.
And I'd agree with that. I kind of have to because you're my wife. Just in the sense of, well, by the time I reach the end of my life, where do I want to have been, and what are some of the things that might have derailed me if I'm not careful? And so, there's a great book called The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, and
really
one of the chapters talks about, imagine your life, and you're at the end of your life, and you're at your own funeral. What is it that you want people to have said about you? What is it that you want to have done in your life and be known for? And the chances are you won't ask about career opportunities. You won't say, well, let's all remember together all the stuff that I did. You'll probably be asking for the loved ones around you. You'll be asking for the people that you had an impact on. And so actually I think one of the things that can derail your purpose is focusing on the wrong things. If you make your purpose about your vision or achieving something or doing something, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't think it'll be the most fulfilling. And as you said at the start, if you make it more about who you're becoming, I think that's far more powerful. It's going to carry you much further in life. So the last thing we really want to talk about in the last kind of minute or two here is we've talked about what purpose is, why it matters, and what is a good definition of purpose, how it differs from maybe goals and that kind of stuff. But actually, how do you find your purpose in life?
Yeah, so I think it goes back to one of the questions we mentioned earlier. What are you passionate about? What is it that really gets you going? It's a great place to start. And I think if you're not sure what those things are, ask the people closest to you. Ask people that you trust what they see as something that you're good at, what they see as something that you excel in, because that will really help you to uncover a little bit.
Sure.
Because there are things that you know about yourself to be true, but there are also things that you might be unaware of that the people around you recognise.
Right.
And so that's really important.
Yeah, and I think as well, listening to your passions, listening to those things that excite you, we touched up on it earlier, but just to dig into that a bit more, actually what brings you alive, what wakes you up in the morning, what do you look forward to, and you'll be able to remember those moments. What were the things that really got my energy going? And sometimes it might take some time to find out what those things are. You might not crack that overnight. I know for me it took a couple of years really to get my life and direction sorted out, and once I discovered my why and my purpose, that really drove me. But it didn't happen overnight. And so I'd say keep listening, keep paying attention to yourself. Maybe learn to sit with yourself in an evening and just write down, maybe take 20 minutes to write down in a journal your thoughts, your feelings, what you think you might be pressing towards, where you're spending your time, whether that's a good place to be spending your time, and just see what emerges maybe over 6 months to a year. That seems like a long time, but it's worth going through the process, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think as well, it's worth recognising that in different seasons, your purpose might look different. And so particularly in this season where we're on lockdown, there might be certain things that feel like actually my purpose has been derailed. And I just want to say to you, it hasn't. Your purpose remains the same, but the outworking of that purpose might be different. So it's worth in different seasons and situations sitting with that and thinking through actually how can I outlive my purpose in my current situation.
Absolutely. I think that's about all we got time for. We just wanted to have a quick conversation on purpose. Hopefully it'll be something that's encouraging for you. Start asking those questions. What is purpose? How do I discover my purpose? And it seems like a little bit of a cliche. I know they're buzzwords, but actually they really do matter. They've been quite pivotal for me and you, haven't they? They've driven us in life to make certain decisions or to say no to certain things. And when you get really clear on your purpose, you'll find that you can see through the fog of life a little clearer. And so I just encourage you to take time to do that. If you've really enjoyed it, if you've watched the video this far, well done, because most people chop out after about 3 minutes. So if you made it through, you really were interested in what we had to say here. We'd love for you to, what, Libby?
Like and subscribe. And if you hit the notification button, next time we're live, you'll get a notification to
Absolutely.
let you know.
And please do drop a comment. We are on the other side of this video. We'd love to have conversations with you. And what are your tips as well? What are the things that you would suggest for talking talking purpose or focusing on purpose in life. My name's Julian. I've really enjoyed this time.
Yeah, and my name's Libby. It's been great to chat with you.
And have an amazing week, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday at 5 p.m.
Bye.
Bye-bye. See you soon. Da, 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 da. Here we go. We're gone. Boom.